so I can celebrate with my friends.
Come on, Red.
See, but what he's really saying is, how dare you kill the fattened calf for my brother? I deserve that honor more than he does. I'm the one that stayed here. I'm the one that's been working for you all these years. I'm the one that did everything right. I'm the one that followed all the rules. I deserve this honor, not him.
Preach it.
See, the older brother is full of resentment because he's focused on what he deserves. He's focused on what he has earned. The father is showering all this reckless, lavish love on the younger brother, and the older brother is saying, no, it's not right. He doesn't deserve your love. I do. My friends, all of the New Testament comes down to this radical idea that we will never be loved by God because we deserve it.
You got that right.
And we will never enter the gates of heaven because we earned it.
Yes.
In fact, if God gave us what we earned, if God gave us what we deserve,
Mercy.
all of us would spend eternity right where the older brother is right now.
Yeah.
Where's the older brother right now? He's outside the Father's house.
That's right.
Far away from the celebration, far away from the joy. But rather than giving us what we deserve, God the Father gives us what this father has given the younger brother.
Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Thank
He gives
you.
us grace. Regrettably, the older brother is so stuck in his resentment that he is blinded to the grace that the father is offering his brother. Now, another characteristic mark of the older brothers is that they're always complaining.
Come on.
They're complainers. Look, father goes out to plead with the older brother, right? Son, come in and join the party. But the older brother answered his father, said, look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Now, consider the irony in this. The older brother saying, I have never disobeyed you. I've never dishonored you, Father. But even as he's saying that, he is publicly humiliating his father. He's outside, everybody's watching, he's yelling at his father. He refuses to come into the party. All the while, he's claiming obedience.
Yes. Yes.
Older brothers don't know anything about obedience.
You got that right.
Now, they know all about following the rules. They know all about appearing to do the right things. Older brothers know all about appearances.
Come on.
But that stuff's only on the outside.
Yes.
And on the inside, the older brother's heart is full of self-righteousness and anger and resentment.
Yes.
I mean, he's thinking, look, I'm the good one. I'm the obedient one. But what Jesus is showing us here is that the younger brother may have gone 1,000 miles from home, but the older brother is even farther away.
Amen. Yes.
And he never even left home. And the worst part is, he doesn't even know it. Older brother doesn't even know how far he is from the Father. He thinks he's doing just fine. And he thinks he has every right to complain about his treatment. You know, I spend a lot of time in hospitals visiting the sick and the hurting. And every once in a while, I'll go visit somebody in the hospital, and all they want to do is complain. They complain about the food, complain about the room, complain about the nurses. They're in a hospital, and they're just looking for things to complain about. Now, all around them is this amazing technology designed to save their lives. All around them are these dedicated people that are just trying to make them feel better, and all they do is just complain. Same thing happens in church. This is spiritual hospital. But there's always someone in church who just wants to find something to complain about. All around them is this hospital of grace, trying to save their souls, and they're just looking for something to complain about. That's older brotherism. You've got some of the older brother in you, see. I want us to try an experiment together. The whole church, everybody, I want you all to try this experiment. All of you younger brothers and all of you older brothers. We're all going to do this together. What we're going to do, we're going to take one day, tomorrow, and we're going to go on a one-day fast from complaining. One day, from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to sleep tomorrow night, no complaining, no grumbling, no whining, no moaning, no complaining about your health or your body or your job or your money, no complaining about your spouse or your in-laws, no complaining about your church, and no complaining about your preacher. How many of you are willing to try that? Amen. How many of you are going to complain about that as soon as you leave here today? Here's what I want you to do in all seriousness. All day tomorrow, I want you to be thinking about this. And every time you feel a complaint coming on, you just pause and pray instead. Now listen to this last part, because this is where it matters. How well you do with this is going to tell you a whole lot about how much of the older brother is living inside of you. So two things we see about the older brother. He's resentful and he is a complainer. Now the third thing we see about him is that he is judgmental. Older brother says to the father, all these years I've been slaving for you, never disobeyed you. He even goes on to say, you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But then look what he says next. He says, but when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him. Now, first thing I want you to see here is how the older brother even refers to his younger brother. Doesn't call him my brother, does he? No. Says, this son of yours. Do you see how the older brother... Now, only someone outside the family would even talk like that.
That's right.
See, the older brother's talking like he doesn't even have a place in this family. And the older brother thinks that he's just pointing out what the younger brother did wrong. But what he's really doing is judging.
Come on.
He's judging his brother. He's saying, I've never disobeyed a single command, but when this son of yours goes out and spends all your money on prostitutes, see that? You see what he's doing here, right? He's judging his brother. He's trying to make himself look good by making his brother look bad.
Come on. Oh, we don't do that.
You know what's really interesting here, though? Jesus never said anything about prostitutes. When Jesus talked about what the younger brother did, the only thing Jesus said is he went off and squandered his money on wild living. Jesus never said anything about prostitutes. But the older brother throws that part in there, you see. Now, why would he do that? Well, because he has judged his brother. Now he's trying to justify the judgment that he has already made. But I think there's another reason older brother's talking about prostitutes. It's a secret reason. In his heart. See, the older brother's imagining what he would do if he went out and lived a wild life. So the older brother, here's what's going on. The older brother's judging the younger brother for his actions, but really, the older brother in his heart is even more guilty than the younger brother. You see that? And this is always the danger. Whenever we start judging another person, is that we're actually judging ourselves.
Amen. Amen.
And right here is where we all have to church. I always go to Sunday school. I read my Bible. I serve in the church. I'm faithful to my wife. I don't go to R-rated movies. I don't drink. I don't smoke. What a good Christian I am. Why can't other Christians be more like me? As soon as you start thinking like that, you have become the older brother. And you are 1,000 miles from the Father, even though you never left home. And the worst part is, you don't even know. You don't even know how far away from God you really are. See, because whenever you start judging yourself as holier than another person, let me show you what you're doing. You're patting yourself on the back with one hand, and you're pushing Jesus away with the other. That's what you're doing. I mean, the younger brother, at least he knows his condition, right? He knows he's in the mud with pigs. Younger brother knows how desperately he needs grace. Problem with the older brother is he's in the same condition. He's also in the mud with the pigs, only he doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for the father to respond to the resentful, complaining, judgmental son. My son, the father said, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. It turns out this is the most powerful moment in the whole story. Remember, the whole village is there to witness this moment. And the older son has just humiliated his father in front of everyone, refusing to come in the house, yelling about what he deserves. And really, the only thing the older brother deserves is to be rebuked by the father, to be disciplined. This is such a powerful moment because in this moment there's all this shame and all this pain and all this humiliation, and rightfully all of that stuff belongs to both of his sons. But instead, with everyone watching, the father takes upon himself all of the shame, all of the pain, and all of the humiliation that should belong to his children.
Yes.
And remember, the father in the story is Jesus. So what we're seeing here in this moment is a foreshadowing of the cross, where Jesus would take all of the shame and all the pain and all the humiliation that rightfully belong to you.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here is a father who has paid an outrageous price to offer grace to the children that he loves so much.
Praise the Lord.
This is the gospel. This moment in the story is the gospel. The Father has summed up the whole message of the gospel in that one sentence. You are always with me. Everything I have is yours. In other words, the Father is telling his Son, he's telling you, my son, the greatest gift that I have to give you is just to be here with me. Just to share love with me. It's not the house. It's not the land. It's not the robe. It's not the ring. It's not the fattened calf, son. It's just me.
Yes.
Being with me is the greatest gift. That's what the Father says. And then the parable suddenly ends. Now the audience audience is all waiting for Jesus to tell them what happened next. What did the older brother do? He publicly shames his own father. Father takes all that shame on himself, offers only love in return. But how did the older brother respond? Did he remain resentful? Keep on complaining? Keep on judging? Or did something in that moment change in his heart? Did he suddenly realize that he had been just as sinful as his younger brother? Did he come in and join the party? Everybody's waiting to hear what happens next. But Jesus doesn't tell them. He just turns and walks away. And then you turn your page in the Bible, you're in a new chapter, Jesus is speaking to a whole new audience. Why didn't Jesus finish the story? Because Jesus doesn't write the end of that story. You do. See, the older brother in the story, it's not really about him. It's about you. And only you can write the end of the story. But it will end in one of two ways. Either the older brother keeps resenting, keeps complaining, keeps judging, keeps thinking that he's close to God when he's really 1,000 miles away. Or the older brother falls to his knees and with his heart broken, he says to his father the very same thing the younger brother said. Do you remember what it was? Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. So how does the story end? Well, that's for you to decide. And this is our time of invitation. And the invitation is for you to decide how the story ends. This invitation today is the time for you to come